Today, I want to share with you my personal journey of how I lost weight, got healthier, and most importantly, how I maintained it while eating whatever I want. It is not about counting calories or dieting. I struggled for years on my weight loss journey, and it wasn't an easy ride. I used to have a double chin, and the inside of my thighs could touch each other. I have tried a lot of things, including some pretty radical diets, also crazy exercising habits, only to understand that years later that everything boils down to just a few most important habits for losing weight and keeping it off. These lessons I've discovered are coincidentally congruent with some medical doctors and human biology scientists' advice. Before I dive in, and if you're new here, my name is Belle and I'm a former architect. My channel shares my ongoing life journey with topics ranging from wellness and productivity to travel. If you haven't subscribed yet, click that subscribe button. I have divided today's video into two parts. Part 1, I want to debunk common misconceptions about weight loss, and I'll set the record straight based on my own epic struggles, which I will be sharing with you. Part 2, I will tell you exactly what I did that is congruent with some of the advice from Dr. Zachary Evans on weight loss, how I lost that weight, and how I kept it off. I have tried the extremely low-calorie diet, the 10% fat diet, the vegan diet. I had also become an exercise addict for quite a few years, but none of these worked for me. Here is why. The extremely low-calorie diet gave me depression. This was the first thing that I tried because we all know that when energy output is more than energy input, you lose weight. So I put myself on a 500 calorie diet per day. 500 calories is equivalent to having a glass of skim milk for breakfast, eating a full-size plain bagel, a small hard-boiled egg, and a big cup of stir-fried vegetables. Did I lose weight? Absolutely. And in super speed. Did I feel great? Totally not. This low-calorie diet helped me lose 15 kilograms due to the extreme calorie deficit. Within a couple of months, I was skinny like a model. In the beginning, I was exhilarated. Seeing myself losing weight so fast was the motivation that I continued up to a certain point, because then I realized something was wrong. I was losing a lot of muscles. My legs became skinny like sticks. My metabolism slowed down. I used to be hungry in the beginning when I went on the diet, but after a while, I was never hungry anymore. That's when I knew that my whole body was slowing down to conserve energy. I started to feel constantly tired and unable to concentrate on my daily tasks. My skin was dry, I looked pale, and I even started to lose my hair. I looked anorexic and I lost my energy. I was uninterested in everything and I was a little bit depressed. I had an extremely unhealthy relationship with food. Unless you want to sustain a 500 calorie daily diet for the next few decades, an extremely low calorie diet to losing weight is a misconception because it doesn't work long term. Your body needs fuel to function. So stop starving yourself and be kind to your body. The 10% low fat diet gave me anxiety. This was the second method that I tried when I religiously kept a detailed daily diary of what I ate, including calories, protein, and fat grams of every single item. I gained back some healthy weight and did not look pale anymore, and I had more energy. But then the problems came. I was never full because I was just not consuming enough fat in my daily diet. Eating also became no fun because to keep the 10% fat diet, I had to eat everything that was boiled and steamed with no oil because a lot of foods already have fat in them. I cut out all butter and all fat, and if I had to go out with friends, it was a big problem because I had to eat my boiled lunch or dinner first because not many restaurants will have these items on their menu. I slowly became so obsessed with my food diary entries that I would get very stressed out if I went over the 10% fat on a daily basis, and I would make it up the next day by eating even less fat. Being so rigid to the 10% fat diet just gave me a lot of anxiety, and my daily nutrition journal was all I could think about for a long time. This did not sustain. It is a misconception that drastically reducing fat intake is the key to losing weight because healthy fats are an essential part of a balanced diet and can actually support weight loss by keeping you full and providing vital nutrients. So don't skip that olive oil or those occasional fats in your diet. Keeping to an extremely low-fat diet also takes a huge amount of discipline, and it takes away a lot of fun as well in life, especially if you're keeping a nutrition journal. Unless you're ready to commit and operate like a military camp for decades and don't mind the anxiety that it can bring, dieting, I wouldn't recommend it. The vegan diet gave me boredom. First off, there is nothing wrong with a vegan diet. I tried it for a year while I was doing my postgraduate studies. It was really hard in the first 2 weeks, but much easier than I thought as time went on. I lost some healthy weight very soon, I think within a matter of weeks. My skin started to really glow, and I actually had more energy. After a while, I lost craving for all meat without much effort, but it was so boring. I lost the joy of going out with friends because back in those days, the vegan options in restaurants were not as comprehensive as they are now, so your choices could be quite limited. It was really hard to not have any meat at a Japanese restaurant unless I order vegetable sushi, vegan sukiyaki, and it is also very hard to not have any meat when you go to a dim sum restaurant, and I love dim sums. I also noticed that I wasn't consuming enough protein to build muscles, and it was hard to have to balance eating beans and tofu every day. So after a year, I gave up. When adopting a vegan lifestyle, it can have numerous health benefits, and it is better for our planet as well. But you need to make sure that you're taking in enough protein for your body, and eating vegan also doesn't guarantee weight loss on its own if that's what you're after. I actually have a friend who is vegan, but he's actually very overweight because he likes margarita pizzas, he likes his french fries and chips and sodas. It is not for everybody. The crazy exercise routines consumed my life. After trying different diets to limit my energy input and failing because I couldn't sustain any of those, I decided to increase my energy input. So I began doing 15 minutes of cardio exercises. So it started out really normal and really balanced, but I quickly worked it up and built an obsession around running because it is actually quite addictive. And whether it's outdoors or on the treadmill, I would just go running every day. Before I knew it, I was exercising up to 2 hours a day. And if I overate on a particular day, I would make sure that I burned the extra calories by running more. The big problem I had was time. If I had to work late or go on business trips, where do I find the time to exercise like up to 2 hours? It became so stressful that I couldn't keep up, and I wasn't happy anymore. While exercise is crucial for overall health and weight management, spending 2 hours on daily exercise is not realistic for most people. And you can also over-exercise and lose muscle, which is not what you want. Now that I have shared with you my personal experiences and debunked some dieting and exercising myths, let's dive into what I discovered that has helped me with my weight loss and enabled me to maintain my fitness over time. First off, I have maintained my current weight for over 10 plus years now. I only found out that the habits I built are the same as some of the advice that Dr. Zachary Evans and other medical doctors share. The secret behind sustainable weight loss and maintenance is embracing a mindful lifestyle. Wait, it is actually more than what you think. So stay with me. I will be sharing with you my personal tips, including the activation of a crucial enzyme in your body that plays a significant role in regulating energy balance and metabolism. Many people actually don't know about this, so keep watching for the next few minutes. Be mindful of your body signals. It took me a couple of years to learn to become mindful of my body's hunger and fullness cues. I never paid attention to my body signals, and I used to eat for fun when I was bored or sad or frustrated. I realized that by doing this, you would dull your sensitivity to the hunger signals that your body is sending you. I used to get confused all the time about whether I was really hungry or was I just bored and craving food as an emotional comfort. I learned that whenever I was craving for carbs and protein, that's when I was hungry. And when I was craving for junk food, that's when I'm just bored and I just needed an emotional outlet. But that is just me. So the signals that your body sends you may be different. Start by tuning into your body signals, and here is how I did it. Whenever I want to eat something, I would always pause and ask myself, am I hungry or am I just craving food as an emotional outlet? If I was unsure, I would drink 2 glasses of water and I would wait. If my body really needed energy, I would still be hungry. It might take at least a few months before you start to sharpen your awareness to your body signals, so be patient. Once you get there, it will help you create a much healthier relationship with food and prevent you from overeating. This takes me to the next point, mindful eating. Dr. Zachary Evans discovered that people who got fit or naturally skinny people sometimes intake fewer calories throughout the day, intentionally or subconsciously. Do you notice that the French eat buttery croissant and drink wine, and the Chinese eat meat in a pot of Sichuan chili oil and drink Mao Tai? because the fit people don't stay slim by eating like this for breakfast, lunch, and dinner throughout the day. They naturally balance out their energy input because they are mindful of what their bodies need to function at an optimal level. So if they have a huge breakfast, they would just eat a salad for lunch or have a light dinner. They first listen to their bodies and will then balance out their energy intake for the rest of the day. If I overeat on a weekend brunch with free flow bubbly, I would listen to my body and I'll notice that I actually won't be very hungry at dinner. So for dinner, I will either cut back on my portion or just have a fruit platter or some soup and some bread instead. The second tip under mindful eating is to eat until you're 80% full, which is what the Japanese swear by for longevity, and it is backed by many studies. The Japanese call it hara hachibu, and this mindful eating philosophy traces back to Chinese Confucianism, which is the origin of hara hachibu. The Chinese believe in 70% full, not 80%, and the ancient Chinese saying is 吃饭七分饱. This philosophy is also backed by traditional Chinese medicine on holistic wellness for the body. So eating 70 to 80% full means you stop eating when you feel satisfied and no longer hungry. You want to eat to live, eat to stay healthy, eat to function. So eat moderately up to 70 to 80% full and find that optimal balance. Mindful activities. Dr. Evans discovered that people who got fit or naturally skinny people are often more active, not necessarily by going to the gym regularly, but by walking more, parking the car farther away from the shop entrance, taking the stairs instead of the escalator. These small adjustments are just programmed into their lifestyle, and they're easier to start and maintain than you think. First of all, don't force yourself to go to the gym for 1 hour daily, which sounds too ambitious to start. Take one small step and begin by biking to work. Or if you drive, park a few blocks away from your office tomorrow and work in those extra steps. There are some days where I just work all day sitting at the desk, and I would only be able to lock in 200 steps. On those days, I would just balance things out on a weekly basis and go on a long hike over the weekend. Whatever activities that do not fit easily into your daily lifestyle will not sustain. So reduce the friction by mindfully choosing the activities that you enjoy and can be easily done. Picking the gym that is on your way to work, not the one that you need to detour to drive or walk to. The active lifestyle will gradually feed on itself over time. Now let's talk about the crucial enzyme that plays a significant role in regulating your energy balance and metabolism within our bodies. What is AMP activated protein kinase, or AMPK? It is an active enzyme that acts as a metabolic master switch that can cause changes in hunger signals as well as impact on how cells use and store energy. It regulates metabolism and is often not activated in overweight and obese people. When this enzyme is fired up, it can help stimulate fat burning and weight loss under certain conditions. It helps muscles use more glucose for energy, controls appetite, and increases the amount of energy spent on physical activity. Because of AMPK, thin people have a faster metabolism, an answer to why they eat what they eat and are still slim. The good news is there are ways to activate AMPK, and anyone can do it. High-intensity exercise. High-intensity exercise includes running, speed walking, swimming, cycling, and other endurance exercises. Exercise helps increase nitric oxide production, and nitric oxide activates AMPK. You need to exercise at about 60% of your maximum heart rate, which is 220 minus your age times 0.6. If you're a beginner, it is safer to find a trainer and start at a lower pace to avoid injury and for maximum impact. Calorie restriction or fasting. I used to get so queasy from my extreme low-calorie diets back in the days, so I actually never looked into fasting. Research has shown that AMPK activation can occur during fasting periods as short as 12 to 16 hours. And I only realized recently that the 16-8 fasting method is a popular approach. You fast for 16 hours, which must include an overnight fast, and then have an 8-hour eating window. I reckon that I have actually been naturally doing this for the past 10 plus years because I'm usually not hungry in the morning. So I would often skip breakfast and I would lunch around 1 or 2 p.m. in the afternoon, which adds up to around 15 to 16 hours of fasting. I have been feeling totally good, and at most, maybe I will drink a cup of coffee or a cup of manuka honey in the morning. Longer fasting periods may potentially provide more robust activation, but of course, they carry greater risks, so you should seek medical advice from your doctor first before starting on any of these. High antioxidant foods. Antioxidant, especially polyphenols, activate AMPK. These foods include berries, grapes, nuts, green tea, coffee, olive oil, onions, herbs, and spices, and my favorite, red wine. I wasn't aware that I actually regularly consume many of these high antioxidant foods. That said, don't forget to find that optimal balance, because obviously, drinking a bottle of red wine every day is not going to end well. Exposure to very cold temperatures. Animal studies have shown that chronic cold exposure activates AMPK, such as cryotherapy or ice baths. I haven't tried this method, and I have no desire to try it. I personally prefer just being warm and comfortable when it's really cold outside. But feel free to try this and let me know if it works for you. All of these tips that I share with you today will not mean anything unless you take the first step. If you are interested in finding out how to set and achieve your goals, check out this video here on why annual goals often fail and how to succeed.